My name is Alberto Dufault, and I am a minister of the Church Universal and Triumphant. And that's I want to talk about briefly about how I find the teaching to. Since I emigrated to Canada in March of 1988, I was looking at that time for the life of Jesus. So um, the story of this story began when in Argentina I watched the movie Jesus of Nazareth, and that was when I was 30 years old, around 1970. And really, after that movie, I was touched in some way that I said, from now on, I had to find out more of the life of Jesus. And the Bible, of course, is the sources that all the people talk about Jesus. But I said, should be more. In Canada, when you immigrate, normally you need that spiritual support in order to adapt to the new culture, the new society. All is new. And I was looking for that for almost 4 or 5 years in Canada. And I went to the Bible house in Montreal, where I established my home at that time. And really, the answer was no, the Bible is the only book that contains the life of Jesus. I said, but should be more. But one day, I was in a used book close to my neighborhood, and I found the lost teaching of Jesus, the book of our church or our organization, the Summit Lighthouse. When I opened that book, I said, oh my God, this is what I was looking for all my life. This is the path that I need to go, I need to be. So since then, I become, in 2 or 3 months, a keeper of the flame. And that maybe we can talk later on what is represent to keeper of the flame. But this concept, these important teachings included in this, the lost teaching of Jesus, give me the key to understand really the real life of Jesus, the real Jesus. But unfortunately, all these teachings has been lost through the years. And we know that all of this has been lost in purpose sometimes in order to not allow the souls evolve in the freedom that need to be in order to be reunited with God. But today I want to mention one of the important points that the masters, the ascended masters, this is the teachings of the ascended masters that need to convey to the people, to the souls, for their liberation. And this point that I want to talk today is the charge of your divine self. I have a small wallet that shows the charge, but if souls want to find out more, they can go to tsl.org in order to get more information about these teachings of the Ascended Masters. But today I want to mention the cardinal principle of the Ascended Master law is that God dwells in every man and not alone in the Son Jesus Christ. So this, the only begotten Son of the Father, is the Christ, whose the image of the Lord, whose image the Lord has reproduced over and over again as the Christ identity of every son and daughter of God who came from the Spirit of God. So we have a very important point here, that God dwells in us and is close to us as part of us. And I want to mention in this chart we have three figures: the upper figure, the lower figure, and the middle figure. The upper figure is the individualized presence of God for each son and daughter of God. This is unique, unique destiny for the soul, personalized in this I am presence as the upper figure. The lower figure is the soul that is coat with the skin coat of the skin, as mentioned in Genesis, that we know is the four lower bodies and represent the four lower bodies. And we can talk more about that, but the four lower bodies are the etheric body, the mental body, and the emotional body, and the physical body. So these are codes that are cover the soul in order for the soul to evolve in this physical plane. And the middle figure is our Holy Christ self. So it's the mediator between the individualized I am presence and the souls evolving on the planet in the physical plane. When God said, "Let there be light," He implemented the expansion of the light by giving birth to individual spirit. And this is the soul. This drop of the cosmic identity were scattered throughout the universe as billions and billions of drops of light, seed of light, each one unique destiny, yet each one with exact replica of the original unity that was and is God. So this is very important concept. So, and the I am present also in the chapter, the upper is surrounded by concentric spheres of light. And that light we call the causal body. That body we call the causal body. The white fire is in the center of that sphere and is the point of the individualization of God flame. And this is the heart of the I am presence. Here is the focus of the threefold flame of love, wisdom, and power. A replica of the flame of light that burned within the heart of God Himself. Thus, the unity of light was established in the beginning through the presence of God, anchored in every part of life. We have developed the sense, we have to develop that sense of oneness and to unity with the Spirit of the living God in order to identify the image identify the image of the Christ. And the individualized God flame illustrates the nearness of the divine presence to the manifestation in the world of material form, dispelling this myth that has long related God to a distant place in the cosmos, no? Where he remained aloof to his creation and the day-to-day problem of his children. It's completely wrong to think in that way. So that's why it's very important to have assimilate the concept that is, for me, was a transformation to receive this knowledge. And that's why it's really the teaching of the Ascended Master changed my life in the positive way and give me a purpose of the destiny to fulfill my destiny with a reunion with God with the intensity of the heart to feel that feeling of the work with in order to balance, as we say, karma and be in reunion with God. So now we can talk about a little bit about this, describe this causal body that contain spheres of light and rays of light, which one with different colors. So I want to mention also that the light that descends from our mighty I Am Presence, that connect to our mighty I Am Presence and Holy Christ Self, and is the crystal core, we call crystal core, that descend from the God, give us the energy necessary to our heart to beat physically and be alive in this plane. So one of the in the center, as we said, there is a white fire, and this white intensity, and this represents the purity of motive, purpose, and intent, maybe defined the desire to glorify God, so our desire to be with God. This white light is the highest manifestation of God. It is the supreme virtue of every attribute of the deity. Next to this white fire is the yellow sphere that represents the study cosmic law and nature and her God, of nature of God, and reflect the faith, hope, and charity that ensoul the sacred wisdom, because yellow is wisdom. The pink is the next one. Pink sphere is recorded as the born out of the soul's love for God and his wondrous powers of creativity. The next one is the violet sphere as the quality of mercy and justice, the alchemy of freedom, the science of transmutation, diplomacy, and ritual. The next is the green sphere as treasures of nature's abundance that man has rightfully claimed as his own. The multiplication of talents, the precipitation of supply and healing, the application of principle of science and practical inventions. The last one is sapphire, blue sphere, as the diamond of faith that bequeath the perfection of God. It's the will of God. It's the scepter of power that is used for those who serve as head of a state, leaders of men, and executive at all levels. And when they are loyal to the mandate of the Creator, they bear his authority as the divine right in all that they do. This is a briefly description of our chart of the divine self. And this is a very important concept in order to visualize that God is very close to us, is part of us, is in us, and not it's difficult for most of the souls who don't have this visualization can pray to God without any relation or connection with God. In order to feel this reunion with God, you have to have this representation in order to manifest in this plane all these virtues and talents that He wants for us to manifest. So I think today is good. Just if you have any question, Pamela, you can ask me and I can answer. But for this time, I think it's good to stop here and to continue another day if needed.
I just wanted to sum up purpose of the path, because you said this is the path that you needed, that you found, the teachings of the Ascended Masters, and you showed us a chart showing our divine self.
Yes.
So how do we get back to God, though?
How do we get back to God? So one of the things is, one I didn't mention, that through our actions and behaviors, thoughts, feelings are all recorded. Everything is recorded. And these actions, if it's in accordance with the cosmic law, if we are aligned with the virtues and aspect of God, we go to all these actions did accumulate in our causal body as a treasure in heaven. But if we commit actions or deeds that are not aligned with the principle of God, that descend in all that we call electronic belt. And this electronic belt is an accumulation of negative thoughts and feelings that has to be transmuted in order for us to be in balance with life. So, as we said, every thought, feeling, and action is recorded. And this is so sometimes so naive of the people that think God has not recorded every action of that individual. So nothing, as Jesus said, every hair of your hair is counted. So that means everything is recorded in Akasha record. So this is very important concept in order to understand that the life has a purpose and has definitely a purpose. The soul has to fulfill their divine destiny based on his her actions, did, thought, that has to be aligned with God, with the principle of God.
But we've all erred, we've all strayed. How do we most quickly get in alignment? Some people might not have hope. They might think, oh, I've strayed so much, I might as well give up. What would you tell them to do?
never give up. And so the soul, the most important soul is to develop this quality of strength um, and balance, and have the concept never give up. The soul liberation is only through reunion with God. There is no other way for the soul to be in freedom and live freedom. The souls that think that freedom is through not related to God is totally wrong. And in this principle, there is no other way than to go to God. So the reunion with God is the safe passages for the soul to obtain liberation and ascend in the light. As we said, ascension is the basic principle of life and reunion with God. We can talk about that more another time with just explain a little bit more about this ascension and balance karma and the violet flame, because I think the concept of the assimilation of this divine chart or divine self is very important in the sense that they give the soul the understanding of the relation with God in the real sense. And all of this is real with a capital R. It's not just a mere imagination of fantasy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pamela.
God bless you.